Hi, Soul Fam. Ava here from We of Liberty and Freedom. Um, kind of thought maybe I'd talk about like ascension symptoms and the Mandela Effect. Um, and for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, we are now, we as a whole, the whole earth and humanity are shifting from a 3D timeline to a 5D timeline. And I know that sounds like spiritual wackadoo stuff, but it's kind of really hard to explain. There are other people out there that are far more qualified to really explain it, but regardless, I mean, you can go to them, people like Ireland Clark and also Michael De La Roca from Our Everyday Lives. You can go to them, to their YouTube channels or Telegram or whatever, to find out what I'm talking about. But right now, I just want to discuss ascension symptoms and Mandela Effect occurrences that are related to the timeline shift, because I've been having a lot of both, a lot of strange things occurring. So I'm putting this out there so that maybe if it's happening for other people, that it will kind of help you out. Like you won't feel like, you know you won't feel like you're alone in this. But so when I'm talking about ascension symptoms, there are a lot of symptoms happening in the solar plexus area, like gut issues and constant loud ringing in the ears. And actually, it's gotten to the point where it doesn't even bother me anymore. Really, it's the ringing in my ears, and I actually discussed this with Michael very briefly. It was on one of the live chats. Basically, the fact that I've been having this ringing in my ears since roughly I want to say around 2017. And I thought it was something else. I thought it was my hearing in association with some other stuff that was going on. But I've had extensive hearing tests done. And according to my ENT, supposedly I have the hearing of like a teenager, which I kind of doubt that. But like I said, he did extensive tests on both of my ears and could find absolutely nothing wrong. And he said, he goes, I totally believe that you're hearing the ringing, but I can't explain it to you. Whatever it is happening from some other source other than like biological, or I guess, or whatever that he can detect. I don't know. But he said he just didn't have answers for me. But yeah, the ringing, it used to just like come and go. But as of, oh man, actually, I kind of don't even know as of when, because I just sort of learned to tune it out. But it has now just for weeks and weeks and weeks been constant, loud, just like a keening, like in my, like it's in my head and around my head, and sometimes it's louder than other times. And I also it's accompanied by a pulsing from my third eye area right here. It's like and it's weird because sometimes it's a pulsing, and sometimes it's like it feels like a solid beam of energy is just blasting out of my forehead. Like I feel it all the time. Like it literally I mean, it is like the weirdest feeling. It literally feels like I'm blasting, like if you could actually see it, it feels like it feels like it would be like a solid, just like bright white beam of energy coming out of my forehead, you know. And then there have actually been days when it encompassed like my entire body, felt like energy was coming out of my whole body. But yeah, when I listen to Michael's channel, he does he calls it the love bowl. It's basically one of those one of the healing crystal or quartz bowls, you know, they're the big bowls, and they take the little it's like a, I don't know, like a mallet type of thing, or like a I don't know what the word is, but it's like a mallet kind of, and they just sort of rub it around the edge of the bowl, and it makes it makes a tone, you know, they make different tones. And he has the 528 hertz, which is the healing tone. And then there's the 432 hertz, which is another universal like healing tone. I think the 528 is the one that the earth resonates at. It's one of those two. But that definitely helps. And when he's doing the bowl, when he's doing the sound, because he'll do it for a couple minutes throughout his videos, or his lives, because I usually watch him live. And as the bowl is doing the sound, it literally is pulsing my forehead. The energy beam from my forehead, I could feel it just pulsing and pulsing and pulsing and getting stronger. But it's like just the most unbelievable feeling. So yeah, there's that. I've had trouble sleeping sometimes, and I've always kind of been an insomniac, but it kind of comes and goes. Some days I feel like I sleep like a baby, and some days I don't sleep very well, and I've definitely been waking up way earlier than normal, and like clockwork, like just like my eyes just being like wide awake, just at like, you know, like 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, which is early for me because I'm not really a morning person, in like with my insomnia. Well, I mean, my normal wake up time really is about roughly 7:30-ish, depending on when I work. Sometimes earlier, because sometimes I have to be up earlier than that, but generally 7:30 is my normal wake up time, and I have been waking up at like 5 sometimes lately, which is unusual. Been having very vivid dreams. I had and I've always had vivid dreams, but and occasionally I have lucid dreams. Lucid dreams are where you're aware that you're dreaming and you're able to control your dreams. But I've been having like more vivid lucid dreams lately, and I had one in particular that I strongly feel was a message from God, from source. So in the dream, I was it's kind of hard to describe. So I was in a landscape, but it was like a land being torn in two. I think representing the two different timelines. One side looked like kind of like utopia, like a paradise, and the other side looked sickly, like a pinkish purple sickly color. And I remember I was up on kind of on top of this hill, and the stuff that I guess was supposed to be kind of like grass, it was weird because it almost looked like grayish pink fur, but it was supposed to be like grass. And I was on a bike, and I remember this strong sense of I have to get to these people, and I have to help them cross over to the other side, to the other timeline, where it's healthy, where everything's healthy and safe, and I have to help them get there. And I felt this urgency to get to them. So in the dream, I'm riding the bike, and I'm like coming down sort of like a steep incline, or a hill, coming down a steep hill, and then there's another sort of incline in front of me, and I felt like I need to get up over that to get to these people. I just knew that they were there. I knew that they were there, and I needed to get to them to help get them to safety. And so I go up, I'm going up this rise really fast, and I get to the top, and I not knowing that there wasn't like any, like there was no more land right there. I literally launched into the air and like froze midair, like something just stopped me. And I was like on the bike hovering, and I looked down, and there was like this black, like very ominous pit that I felt when I was looking down into it, like it was just pure evil. And there were like these creatures flying out of this thing. It kind of, I don't know if any of you guys have been watching that show Stranger Things on Netflix, but it was kind of like those bat creatures that were like flying around Eddie's head and attacking him and the other kids. It was kind of like those, a little bit. But anyway, they were flying out of the hole, and I'm just frozen in midair on this bike looking down at this pit, and I see the people way off kind of in the distance that I'm supposed to get to help them cross over to the healthy, the timeline, the 5D timeline. And as I'm sitting there on the bike looking down at this pit, sort of contemplating my possible demise, I hear God in my head, and he says, what was it? He said, like, no, you don't want a chance going into that pit. Nothing good is there. That's just pure evil, you know, and we need you, because we need you to help, you know, like shepherd the people over to the new timeline. We need you to help get the people over to the safety. And so then the bike with me on it was pulled back onto solid ground, and he says, you need to find another way. And right after that, the dream like ended. It was really weird. It was a really weird dream, but it was one of the most vivid dreams that I've had in like a long time. Like a really, like, it felt so real, like as real as what my room feels like right now, like that real, like, so yeah, there was that dream. I might ramble a little. I think I mentioned in my last video that I'm sort of ADD, so I tend to get a little, as one of my really good friends, Leah, says, she calls me her Dory, because I tend to get sidetracked sometimes. But anyway, so yeah, there's that. And speaking of dreams, I might as well tell you guys about another dream. This dream is a reoccurring dream that I've had all my life, many times, and it's always the same. And in the dream, it literally is an entire lifetime that I live from, like, basically cradle to grave in one night. If you know, like, I'm dreaming, and I don't know how long a normal dream lasts, but in the dream, I literally experience an entire lifetime every time I'm in this dream, and it's very real. It's not like a normal dream. It feels like I said, as real as I'm in this room right now. And I have, in the dream, I'm a villager, and I'm living somewhere, I feel like it's like either Norway or like somewhere in Scandinavia, or like Ireland or Scotland. Like, that's the feeling of it. And I've always had like this obsession with Norway, and then surprisingly found out recently that I'm actually part Norwegian, very small part, but still, it's kind of strange because I mean I've been obsessed with Norway like all my life, even way before I ever found out that I had any Norwegian in me. Since I was like a little girl, I've been super obsessed with Norway. I even have my whole uh, right sleeve tattoos. It's all Nordic. I don't know if you can see. Even has Nordic writing. Um, anyway, but yeah, in the dream, I'm a villager and I have a husband and I have a family, I have kids, and I live this entire lifetime, and then I always end up dying by beheading in a raid to this village. And the strange thing is that I actually had, there was a friend of my cousin's years ago. This is before I got married. It was a little bit before I actually met my husband, or ran back into him, I should say. But so this friend, her mom was I don't know what the proper term is, psychic, or clairvoyant, or whatever you want to call it. And we all pretty much have that ability, but some people have it more than others. Some people have it very strongly, but we all pretty much have those abilities. But this woman, she didn't know me from Adam. She did not know me at all. She knew nothing about me. The friend really didn't know me that well, because she was more my cousin's friend, so she was really an acquaintance. But she knew that I was into all that stuff, knowing about my future or whatever and all that stuff. And so, it was in like my mid-20s. But anyway, sorry, I'm kind of rambling. Anyway, she told me a bunch of stuff that there's no way she could have known. But she basically, at one point said that I had been, in a past life, I had been a villager, and I had a very violent death where I was beheaded. And I never had told anybody about that up to that point. I never told anybody about those dreams. And I was just like, what the heck? Like, how does she know this stuff? And she told me a bunch of other stuff. She actually, at the time, I wasn't even with my husband yet. We weren't even dating. And she actually told me at that time, within this year, you will meet a man and you'll get married, and then in another year you guys will have your first son. And that actually happened. But the funny thing is that I totally didn't remember her saying that until like after my son was born, like a couple years later. And I was reflecting back on that. I was like, oh my gosh, she totally knew. But so yeah, this dream about me being like a villager, a peasant, or whatever you want to call it. And in the dream, I remember, like, every time I have it, it's I had a happy life back then, in this other life. And then it just always ends tragically. But yeah, so there's that. And then I was going to mention the Mandela Effect. So many strange things happening. Like the other night, I had this, in my head, all of a sudden popped up, I just had this thought, somebody's going to try to steal your credit card information or something. I just had this feeling, something to do with my credit card. Somebody was going to use my credit card. And I'm lying there, and I just had this strong sense. And then something just told me, check your phone. There's going to be an alert. Somebody's using your credit card. And so I picked up my phone, and sure enough, a alert had just popped up from Capital One. And it said that some guy was trying to purchase something through Walmart because I I have that Walmart service. I don't really like using them that much, but there's a few things that that I get, occasionally delivered just because I need a lot of it, and so it's just easier that way for me. But anyway, so yeah, so I picked up the phone and this guy had ordered like well, it's funny because at first it was like 40 something dollars worth of items. And so I go on there and on to the Walmart thing and I cancel it because it had just been ordered. And as I'm canceling it, he ordered more stuff. And it was weird because with the first order, he actually sent it to an address in California in Beverly Hills. The second set of orders he had it sent to Brooklyn, New York, but it was under the same guy's name. And I've heard about these kind of scams before where they buy up a bunch of stuff and they have it sent to all these different addresses, and I don't remember, somebody was trying to explain to me why and how they do that, like why they do it, because it doesn't make sense to me. If he's not living in those two different places, how is he getting this stuff? But there's a method to the madness with the whole thing, I guess. I just don't quite understand it. But so anyway, so I caught him doing it again as I'm on the app. He's buying something with my card. So I canceled that. I immediately went, I deleted, I had another card on there. I deleted that one immediately, and it wasn't even my primary card on there. The one that was being used was my primary card. And so I deleted that, and then I immediately called Capital One and told the gal what was going on, and canceled my card. And she was actually impressed. She was like, wow, she could see it literally just happened. She's like, how did you know? And I said, I just had this feeling, this strong sense, like God was telling me, you need to check your phone, like somebody's trying to defraud you right now. And and I've been having more and more of these, the still small voice telling me, you need to do this, you need to do that, and I've found in the past, whenever I listen to it, it serves me well. But if I haven't listened to it, then bad things happen. I've actually, God has saved my life many times. I should be dead by now with the certain things that happened, that if I hadn't listened to him, I would literally be dead. Like, I mean, we're talking extreme. I think there were times I was in extreme danger and I listened to my gut and it saved my life. I listened to the voice. That's why they call it the still small voice, because it's not like a loud voice. Like, you don't actually hear a voice, but you get this feeling, and that's God's voice. That's source telling you, that you need to take action, and you need to listen to that, because if you don't, then bad things are going to happen. But that's what they call your gut reaction, or your intuition, and you really do need to learn to listen to that, because it's not going to steer you wrong. So yeah, and I can talk about those incidences on another time, but also there's been Mandela effects, so many. I mean, the Star Wars one, a lot of people know about, where, and my sister and I were Star Wars junkies. We used to watch like what for me are the original three. I know everybody goes, oh, that's 4, 5, and 6. No, to me it's 1, 2, and 3, because A New Hope was the first one, was the first movie I saw when I was a kid in the theater with my dad back in the 70s. And so that to me is the first Star Wars. It's always going to be the first one. But anyway, I know he said, Luke, I am your father. And they say that he never said that, but he did. My sister and I watched the heck out of that movie. We had it on VHS and we watched it so much that it actually broke the VHS tape, and we had to get a new one because we watched it so many times. And there's that, and then the whole Ed McMahon Publishers Clearinghouse thing. Ed McMahon was working for Publishers Clearinghouse, but on this timeline, he never did. But But on the old timeline, he did. And I know that he did because my dad used to always purchase crap from Publishers Clearinghouse because he thought he was going to win. And he would always get these crappy watches and other things, you know, and I remember my sister and I making fun of Ed McMahon all the time, you know, like showing up at the house with the balloons and everything. And there's the Mr. Rogers one. The Mr. Rogers Mandela Effect. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. The neighborhood. He always said that. I watched Mr. Rogers all the time growing up. Like clockwork, all the time. On this timeline now, it doesn't say the neighborhood. Now it says it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. It doesn't say the neighborhood anymore. And there's so many. I could go on and on. There's so many, but I think I'm going to cut this short because it's already going on 26 minutes long for this video. But I just have so much stuff in my brain that I want to get out. And you'll probably find a lot of my videos, it really will be like a diary. I'm not really discussing anything necessarily in particular. I probably am not gonna, I'm gonna try not to get too political. I mean, I'm known to be a very political person, but this is just more, I don't know. I guess it's just whatever I feel like talking about at any given time. And if there's anything that you guys want me to discuss, you know, please put it in the comment section and I'll address it. There was a gal in my last video that in the comments section that I forget what her name was now, but she had asked me what I was talking about when I was saying that things are happening, that I'm noticing things are happening, and what I was mentioning, what I was referring to was the timeline shift. And I know there's probably a lot of you people watching this right now going, man, this gal is a total wacko. Like, what the hell is she talking about? Trust me, we are going through a timeline shift. And if you had told me even just like a year ago that I'd be talking about stuff like this, I would have been like, you're crazy. But I'm telling you, go listen to Ireland Clark and also her boyfriend, Michael De La Roca. His channel is called Our Everyday Lives. They're both on YouTube. That's mainly where I watch it. But they also have Telegram and I think they're on Discord and of course they're on Patreon. But you'll understand. They will explain everything I'm talking about with the timelines, and there's other people out there that are talking about it too. But if you listen to their videos, it will explain so much crazy crap that is going on in your life right now. Things that you're like, you probably feel like you're going crazy or something. You probably feel, if you do feel like you're going crazy, you're not going crazy. We are literally going through a timeline shift right now, an ascension, and a lot of crazy things are happening to millions of people, and so you're not alone. But anyway, please like and subscribe, because that helps get the, you know, algorithms. It helps the other people find my channel. And yeah, if you have any questions, put them in the comments, please, and I will respond. All right. Love you guys. Have a nice evening. Bye.